For more on the strength in home building, the jobs it creates, I want to bring in Curt Bailey. He's the president of Related Midwest, which is developing 1,500 new apartments in Chicago as its peers do similarly all over the Midwest. And Related, by the way, is the global property developer behind such major properties right here in New York, including the Time Warner Center and also the big Hudson Yards project. And Curt, thank you so much for joining us. First off, give us your take on the housing market in the Midwest, particularly in Chicago, and whether or not you are seeing the same construction boom from that.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me, Betty. It's a pleasure to be here. I mean, we're seeing tremendous movement in the Chicago market. On the first front is apartment construction. So there's about 5,000 new units coming online this year, as many as 8,000 right behind it. Additionally, the condo pricing is both rising and there's tremendous velocity with very little remaining inventory. So we're seeing rising on both the apartments and the condo. We think single-family homes are going to be very close behind that. Okay, so why is single-family homes lagging here? Well, I think you've got, household formation from 97 to 2007 was about 1.5 million per year. And that dropped from 08 to 11 to about 500,000. You got about 2.5 to 3 million pent-up demand for household formation. And these manifest themselves as, college kids that are staying at home, roommates that are living together instead of having their own apartment. And as these people begin to get jobs, and we see these positive job reports, we see, additional unemployment, falling. These people are going to be moving into new homes, and there's a tremendous pent-up demand with very little inventory left after 6 years of really no new homes being built. So is this what happened then? Is it that this year, for some reason, is finally the year when the inventory has run out? Is that what it is? It is. And, people in Chicago, an average person in Chicago looking to buy their house is not looking at the European debt crisis. They've got a steady job. They've had a change in their life. Let's say they've got married or they've had kids, and they can get end loan financing. And they're seeing, you look at Case-Shiller year over year, 6.8% rise in home prices. So they're seeing rising home prices. It's an historically good time to buy a house, and they're saying this is a good time for me to buy. So this jobs report and the positive news there will only help that. So I think you're going to see a lot more homes being purchased, rising prices, and more homes being built. Curt, is there any danger, though, that as developers try to put more inventory in the market, that we get into the overbuilding situation again? That's a clear concern, Betty, and I think all of us in this industry saw things that happened in 06 and 07, and we kind of shook our heads and said, well, it's an interesting deal, or how did that person get financed? And there was a lot of overbuilding. Today, it's a much more judicious process. You have a lot of people looking at each deal that gets approved. The banks are being, very smart about their lending. And, of course, you can always be in danger of overbuilding, but every project you see now is really well thought out and is very need-based. Well, I mean, on your front, how are you making sure that you're really building to meet the demand? Yeah. So one interesting fact about Chicago is that there's very little condo inventory left. We just took over 500 unsold units. They were built in the last wave, but it remained unsold, and we're in a deed and lose situation. We just started marketing these in January of this year. In 60 days, with little marketing, and we hadn't even finished the work we want to do in these buildings, we've sold over 60 condo units. So there's tremendous pent-up demand. And our buyers are able to get financing up to 95%. So there are end loans out there as well. Okay. It's a real confluence of events here for positive news in the condo and apartment market. Certainly sounds brisk. Curt, thank you so much. Great to see you again. Curt Bailey, the president of Related Midwest.